Hello, my name is Angie Jefferson, and I'm looking forward to answering these questions for you. And I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity. The first question, my leadership philosophy. I think I'm a relational leader. I believe in building relationships with a team of people, especially those people you're going to affect by your decisions. I also consider myself to be a person who leads by example. I'm hardworking, and I think that by leading from example, you can show people that you are in it as part of a team. A good example of that is we went through a fairly large K-5 ELA restructuring of both Tier 1 and 2 resources, as well as a shift in pedagogy, and we adopted a new program for ELA, but we also restructured how we taught, and we worked with a consultant who was very knowledgeable. She was very driven, and she spent a lot of time with us, and there was a lot of full-day trainings for teachers. And as difficult as it was, every building principal knows when you miss a day in the building, you come back to all of that work. But I stayed right in those trainings with the teachers, so I could learn from the consultant as well, become better versed in literacy and the program that we were adopting, and it just paid off dividends. The teachers trusted me, and they trusted the process, and I think that by leading from example, I got a lot of buy-in from the teachers, as well as increased their own self-efficacy and how they felt about the program. And so I think a big part of the success of that implementation was leading by example. The next question, how would you cultivate leadership among building principals? I think, it's really important to build a relationship with building principals so that you know one another and you trust one another. And I think, initially I would do a lot of learning and listening and trying to build relationships with building principals. Having said that, measuring my own effectiveness, I think, is the next part of that question. I would measure my effectiveness in terms of raising student achievement by looking at data, but not just one source of data. I like to look at both hard data and soft data. I think hard data, it makes sense to me. I'm good at looking at it. I understand it. But one of my favorite things to do, and what I think is most important, is being able to analyze that data and describe it to people in a way that is helpful to them. So in my opinion, teachers are the hardest working people that I know. And what I like to do with data is give it to them in a meaningful way that's actionable, and not just throw piles of data at them, but support them through the process and give it to them in a meaningful and actionable way. So I think that's one way that I would gauge my effectiveness in raising student outcomes, but also looking at soft data, and that's just how people are feeling and getting feedback from people. I think it's important for students' social and emotional health to be addressed as well, and to gauge how they're feeling, as well as administrators and teachers feeling supported. So this soft data would also help me gauge my effectiveness. Let's see, the next question, envision your first day with the district admin team. That's very exciting for me to think of envisioning that. I think I would charge administrators to support and inspire their staffs. Everyone knows that this last year has been extremely difficult, and that, of course, there are learning gaps to fill, and those need to be addressed. But first and foremost, I would encourage people to support one another, be inspirational. Students will always be my number one priority, no matter what role I am in a school system. And I think that when you support teachers and treat teachers and staff well, and just make sure that they're feeling supported, and also they treat students better, and that's what we want. And so I think I want students to have an amazing experience at school, and teachers treat students better when they feel supported and honored in their profession. So that's something I definitely would want to inspire administrators to do when I envision my first day with my district admin team. I think in terms of my own 3 goals, it would be building relationships with East Grand Rapids Public Schools students, staff, community members, parents, and just getting to know people. I think second to that would be analyzing the curricular strengths, challenges, and opportunities of the district. And then lastly, analyzing those achievement gaps and developing a plan to address those shortcomings in a realistic, reasonable, and meaningful way. Lastly, composing and present one question for Dr. Catula and what you would address if you were granted a screening interview. I would like to know what you're most proud of East Grand Rapids Public Schools, and then also followed up by what is one area of curricular growth that you would like to see occur. So I think I've answered those questions, and I just wanted to again say thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to the potential of getting to have a next round interview. So thank you.